Good afternoon. Today is May the 29th, 2020. This is the Service Hero Show. 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. And we have a nominated service hero today. Yes, Paz was nominated by Andrea Adams Miller, yes, of this Keep Smiling movement. And let me tell you this. I have wanted to get to know what it is that Paz is doing because Andrea said, you know what, you really need to meet him. And in fact, we had a bit of a delay, and she said, no, you're not getting anyone else until you get Paz Simpson on the show because of what it is that he is doing. He is in the front lines right now. He is making a difference. He and multiple organizations that he is involved with. And we're going to be talking about that today. In fact, he just took a moment, kind of changed a few things because he was just out there a few moments ago serving people that if he and his group did not show up, possibly could be in a very sticky situation. So, you know what? I just want to say thank you for being here. You are an amazing man, inspiring so many.
I'm humbled. And you gave such a great introduction, right? They wouldn't know that I'm still silly, and I smile back.
Well, I will say that I love your stuff because you know what? You are someone that likes to just have some fun. Happiness engineer, that, you even say you are the happiness engineer and also known as I love my life,
Yeah,
Mr. I love my life. That's pretty spectacular. Look at that
yeah.
smile. It says it all. It says it
I mean,
all.
I've been blessed, right? And to say that I missed I love my life when you hear a lot of your favorite speakers, a lot of the mentors that you see on stage, right? I've been blessed to become friends with them, and many of them started saying I love my life on stage after they heard me say it all the time. So that's how I got that Mr. I love my life, right? Because no matter where you are in life,
Mhm.
there's always a reason to love it. No matter what you're going through in life, there's someone who would just trade places to be you. And you're like, I may be suffering from an illness, right? What do you mean somebody would want to be me? Because somebody may want your love, right? They may
Yeah.
want your tenacity, your perseverance, your willpower. You are all superheroes. We just have to be reminded from time to time.
Isn't that the truth? And in fact, we have some of our contingencies starting to show up right now. And one of them, one of our ambassadors of the chat for Chemo Buddies for Life, she is always sharing with everybody about Chemo Buddies for Life. I love it. Helene Wilson, one of my buddies, and she's saying hello to you. And this is one of our board members, Skip Thomas. Your happiness and love with the Blessed Smile class make us all smile. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then we have Cinnamon. One of our buddies is here with us. Hello, my dear. You guys are going to really, really enjoy today's show. We're going to get right into it because when you and I finally had a chance to connect, I'll tell you, you nearly had me in tears, you had me in stitches, you had me kind of going all over the place, and I have a feeling that's what you do for so many because you have lived life, you've had a lot of experiences with that, and then you're out there helping others in multiple different ways. Now, tell us, because you just got back, you said a few moments ago. I mean, you were kind of rushing in
Yeah, I was
and
actually
doing some of the changeroo stuff because where were you just a few moments ago?
we were delivering food. So every Friday. We deliver food in our city, in our community, to families that can't afford it, families that have been affected by COVID, families that are left behind. So I was rushing because the family I just finished delivering food to, the mother is currently suffering from COVID. And some people still have their fears, right? We don't interact, right? We leave the food on the door so that there's no possibility of them spreading the infection to me. But there's 6 kids in the home. Mom can't work, right? What happens when people forget that healing is done in communities? That lady would have
Right.
been in her home, stressed out because she's not allowed to leave, wondering how her kids are eating, who's going to feed them, if there's groceries around. But not today, right? Today, she knows she has a week's worth of groceries. One of our partners, Catholic Charities, dropped off some fruits and vegetables, so she got some fresh fruits and vegetables, right? Another one of our partners in our city gave them some breakfast stuff, so now they can actually have a better selection of breakfast. But it all starts with someone wanting to care, right? And I say this,
Right.
I say this for all of us because we're dealing with know, brothers and sisters that are dealing with cancer.
Mhm.
Remember that healing is done in communities. Don't try to do it by yourself. Don't feel like you're alone, even if you think you are, even if it's not your immediate family. That's the ones
Mhm.
that decide to be your community. I'm going to tell you my personal manifesto, and this goes everywhere, and it applies especially to the people that are on this line, right? My personal manifesto. I hope everybody has a pen and paper so you can
Okay,
write it
guys,
down, right?
I got mine. And yes, Helene, it is purple. It's a joke. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, purple's my favorite color as well. So
Oh, well, there
I'm,
you
I'm, I'm
go.
a purple passion man.
You fit right in with our group. I'll tell you that.
Yes, yes. Only reason,
Yeah,
actually, if you could see my shirt, you see there's always some purple around today. I'm the Fresh Prince. So there's some purple
I
on the
love it. I
shirt.
love it. I love
Yeah,
it, you guys. That's a nearly our colors at Chemo Buddies. How fun is that? Okay, so
yeah.
I've got my pen, I've got my paper. Let's.
Okay. My
Okay.
personal manifesto is I love me.
Oh,
I'm worthy. Some people may not like me, but I don't care because the people that matter will be glad that I'm here. I'm going to repeat that for you. And I want to make sure everybody has that, because you are worthy. No matter what somebody tells you, no matter what you're going past. How would you know? You don't have cancer. Unfortunately, I can say I'm not going through the same struggle, but I lost my sister. I was her buddy. My grandfather, I was his buddy. I took care of him to the day he passed away. He was for him he was 75 years old. I don't think it was the cancer that took him. I think it was life, being old and not having to keep on fighting. But I want everyone to know, right? You are special. So here's that personal manifesto again.
okay. Yes.
It's I am worthy. I love me. Some people may not like me, but I don't care because the people that matter will be glad that I am here. Everywhere you go, there's going to be someone that doesn't like you. Everywhere you go.
Hmm.
But everywhere you go, there's going to be someone that is glad that you showed up. There's going to be someone that's so grateful for you being there. There's going to be someone that wants to share a smile with you. So ignore the people that don't like you. And if they hate you, celebrate them. What do you mean, Pat? Celebrate a hater. Haters are your greatest promoters. I have a guy right now who's been running around the city telling everybody I steal money from my city. And I'm glad he's been doing it. My gang members are like, "Oh my God, aren't you going to stop him?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Why?" It's like we don't even get money from the city. So how can you steal something you've never gotten?
Right, right, right. That's. I love this. First of all, I love this, and how true is that? And sometimes it might be shocking to know that people that you think that are in your corner, when things start happening, it might surprise you, and you have to be okay with it. That's where something like this really comes into play, because then you know, okay, it's all right. It's all right. And it might just be for a season of time too. That, because people can change, and you know that extremely well because of the things that you are doing. And I love this because everybody's already, they're like, yes, I am worthy. I am. Yes,
Yes,
love
you
it.
are. Yes.
I love it. Yes.
I
and
have
and
I have a video that that I did, and I suggest everybody take. And I don't promote. I hate promote myself, but this is special because this is different. You guys are a special group of people. I have a video. Look it up on YouTube. It's called "I Am the Best." The
I
reason
am the best.
the reason I recommend that video is because at the end of the video, right, it says, "I am the best, but so are you." Right? Every one of us are the best. You're the best version of yourself. No one can ever be better at being you than you. Right? You are so awesome and amazing. Right? You just have to be reminded sometimes, right? Sometimes you need to be surrounded with like-minded individuals. Sometimes you need to be surrounded with like-hearted individuals, right? Because the heart is such a more powerful magnet than the mind. So if we put ourselves in a place where we have people in the same heart space as us, that can allow us to fly further, right? You can decide to be the wind beneath someone's wings and you get to fly with them.
And you know about that because you have been flying with quite a few people. And I still am amazed. Quite honestly, I am truly amazed by what you have been able to, and I'm sure you and a collection of like-minded and like-hearted individuals, and let's say like-hearted individuals, that have helped those that really need that self-love to be able to give to others, knowing that they are in true need right this minute, and possibly in giving that service, maybe they're starting to find that love themselves. Let's talk about that, because you have, I mean, you start talking about some of these gang names, people recognize those names. And like I was sharing with you, I'm from Southern California, and I don't live in LA City. However, I live in the Southern California area, so I'm in the same news cycle area as that, and so growing, and I grew up here, so I remember many a times when we had some very interesting news stories going on, but these were not news stories. These were people, and that's the thing that is so important to understand, especially even today, because there's some stuff going on, and you need to really be able to look at the people, not necessarily the messaging.
Hmm.
So let's drill it down. You know that there's a lot of kids out there that need help right now, in
Yes.
because of COVID and everything, and there's some particular babies that need some like things on their little bottoms, and you were able to, with the diapers and some other items, you were able to go to some of these gang members and say, hey, we need your help, and the babies need your help, and let's do this. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that, because that's fascinating.
So one of the things that I do is I run an anti-gang, anti-violence program. So I'm always looking for ways to help people move forward, right? When you think about gangs, and it's such a misconception about gangs, most gangs were actually started for good, right? They were started to protect their neighborhoods. When you think about the Bloods and the Crips, they started out as part of the civil rights movement. It turned out to be something different once, unfortunately, our government got involved, right? We don't talk about how the government, actually gave the Bloods and Crips the crack cocaine. It actually changed the way the gangs move right now. That's another story for another day. All right.
Okay. Okay. Enough said. We're not going to go there
No,
today. However, all
we're
right.
gonna keep smiling. We're gonna keep smiling. I want to make sure that we keep everyone. I want to make sure that I keep everyone upbeat and happy. So these gang members, for the most part, right? These are children. I don't care how old they are. I don't care how young they are. These are children who are left behind. These are children who are looking for a sense of belonging. These are children who are looking for family. All the gang is for most of these kids is their first set of family. So, knowing and understanding that, you start to every family has a dad, every family has a mom. You start to get to know who's really running and finding out what's needed. For most of them, there aren't any gangs that are making a lot of money anymore. This isn't the 80s. This isn't the 90s. Making a lot of money of drugs is not. It's over. It's over. I don't care what anyone says. So these guys are looking for jobs. But people are closing doors on them because they have the names, whatever gang they were before. They have the criminal backgrounds that they had before. But as we started to eliminate those obstacles, they started to trust. And then COVID hit, right? COVID hit, everyone's locked in. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You know, First thing we noticed is, unfortunately, it's people of color, whether you want to say black, Latino, those are the neighborhoods that get the information last. They're the least likely to read the newspaper. So many different reasons why they're the last group to get the information. So we said, first, let's make sure they know how to protect themselves. So we reached out to all of our agencies, our hospitals. My current program is a city collaboration. So I work with my police department, my hospitals, my fire department. If you are a major decision maker in my city, you sit on my board once a month and you tell me how you can help me help these gang members. So we reached out to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
No one responded quickly. Then we said, we do. What do we do? What do we do? No one's responding. Then we called the gang members. So I need to get some information to the people. So we started doing videos first. So I had all the gang members doing videos talking about wash your hands, stay inside. you know,
I
because,
love it.
because while everyone else is thinking, I need some major celebrity, I need Puff Daddy, I need Taylor Swift, I need whoever on TV. I was saying the kids in the neighborhood, they're going to listen to them, but they're more likely to listen to Lil Baby who got his gang flag in his pocket, that they see every day. So we got the gang members, to do videos on things that they can do to protect themselves. And then we took it a step further. One of the Latin kings said, what can I do? I had already set up a 24-hour hotline. So anyone in our city, if you need anything, you can call our hotline and someone's usually back in touch with you within 3 hours. So I was like, I'm like, well, I only speak 6 Spanish words. I'm like, you're bilingual. Why don't you answer the phones for me? You can return all the phone calls. He's like, okay. Then we said, how do we get everyone else involved? So we started asking. I called the head of the Bloods. I'm like, do you guys pass out flyers? Yeah, we can do that. And as we started doing it, more got involved. So now we have Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings, which are the 3 largest gangs in America. We have them working together every single day. So far in our city, we just passed out 96,000 diapers across our city, which the gang members actually pass out themselves. We feed close to 75 to 100 families a week. Again, the gang members pass out those flyers. We answer close to 200 phone calls a day, which are answered by Latin Kings. The Latin Kings answer the phone because they're bilingual. The Latin Kings answer the phones. They pass off the information then to the Bloods and the Crips. The Bloods and the Crips either pass out the mask or the gloves or whatever it is for their assignment for the day. And then everyone gives me what they've done for the day. And I sit in my office and work on the next.
That's the way it's done in community. That's what we were talking about on the phone, is how important community is. And you just went through step by step by step on how you were able to basically change the dynamic. And I love it even more because of this, guys. Think about it this way. It took a pandemic that many are freaking out about, if you will. And this group said, okay, Paz says, all right, how can we do this? We've got people with needs. We're not going to get calls right back. Then we're going to do it. We're going to do it with our people. Our people will recognize our people, and we're going to go out there and serve the people that we live with, our own. And it's not just our own, it's the collective. And that is beautiful. It is beautiful. And look at that smile. I mean, my goodness, that has got to be feeling so
I mean, it's
amazing.
different, right? Because COVID, I mean, that's just one thing. We had a fire, right? It's been 1 month exactly today that we had a fire in our city, right? 51 people lost their homes, in the middle of this COVID, right? And I'm sitting there with my partner, my business partner at the nonprofit. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, these people lost their homes. He's like, how do you know? I was like, one of the parents, her son was in school with my son, so she just tagged me on a post on Facebook and said, hey, Justice's dad, it's me. We lost our home. I'm like, oh man, we need to call the Red Cross. We need to figure it out. We need to do something. And as we're doing that, Red Cross is calling my secretary on the other line going, hey, we need you guys to figure it out. We need you guys to do something. And again, taking the population that's been previously pushed out, which are these gang members, we were able to help all 51 people in less than 2 weeks. We got them all new homes, right? We got them, they now get food delivered to their homes every week, for the next few months until they're fully on their feet. Because people saw the work we were doing. We got 2 pallets worth of clothing donated. So they were able to get everything from their socks and underwears to their winter coats. And these are people who were formerly impoverished. So they walked out of there with clothes from J. Crew and Eyes Out. Like the one mom started crying. I'm like, what are you crying for? She's like, I would never buy these clothes for my kids because they're outside of my budget. She was shopping like we was, she was a Macy's kid that day. Oh man, and she's wanting to volunteer now, right? Because she's new. I couldn't afford that, and we didn't think about it. We jumped in, and if more people, right, and I'm saying this to our brothers and sisters on here right now, I serve out of selfishness. They're like, you serve out of selfishness? Yes, I serve out of selfishness because Muhammad Ali says service is the rent that we pay for life. Service is the rent that we pay for life. So I serve out of selfishness, right? Because if I make you feel better, I don't have to feel bad.
I love that. And when you and I were visiting, you did share that, and you talked about it briefly. You shared that life has a real you treasure it in so many ways. We all do. But when you have personal experiences of those that you love gaining their wings, as we call it, then you look at it possibly a little differently than some. And that started for you at a very young age, right?
Yeah, I lost my best friend in the world. All right, so I have 5 death stories that changed my life. Only 2 of them are, or 3 of them are really dealing with sickness. My best friend, when I was 15 years old, I grew up in New York. Grew up in Harlem. My brothers were big time drug dealers. But my best friend took 8 bullets for me. He jumped in front of a hit that they had on my family, and said your life was worth more than mine.
Oh.
That was the first time I actually seen death up close. Uh,
Oh,
Still didn't get it. You know, I was still we're young. We're in Harlem. You know, this the '80s. I don't know if you ever seen that movie When They See Us. The
no, I don't think I have.
it's about the Central Park Five, the five young men that went to jail for a rape they did commit. Um, they
I actually do know about the story, though. I
yeah.
know about the story, but
So
I don't know that I've seen that movie.
okay, so
So,
if you know the story, Antron McCray, who's one of the main people, was on his way to my house when that really happened in real life. We were 14 years old, so he was on his way to my house when he got arrested.
oh,
Yeah,
wow.
which is why I can't watch that movie. If you ever watch the movie, you'll hear them say the name Blind a couple times. That was my name when I played basketball. So, uh,
Blind when you played basketball.
yeah, they call it. Yeah,
Interesting.
because I wore big glasses and I couldn't see anywhere. They said I couldn't see anywhere in the world except for on the basketball court. So,
Oh, there you go. I love
yeah,
it. I love
yeah.
it.
So
So,
first, yeah. So I just want to take you out through these death series because it's important, right? Right. So
right.
first he dies. Then my grandfather died 6 months later. You know, he died of cancer. Like I said, I was taking care of him. You know, my that was my second best friend. Right. My grandfather. You know, anyone was one of the first black engineers in New York City. He was one of the first black men to drive a train in New York City. He was my hero. You know, you know, driving the train in the early 1900s when black people weren't allowed to do much. You know, then he goes. You know, both of my sisters, as I told you, both of my sisters passed away before their 36th birthday. One died of heart disease. She had a heart attack while at work on Rikers Island. The other one died of bone cancer. She had breast cancer at first, and we were treating her with CBD, but she was in a state at the time that said marijuana was illegal. So we were forced to make a choice, right? Do we continue to CBD medicate her, which I said yes, or do we follow what her insurance says and possibly lose her insurance? They said no. They went their route. You know, I've never wanted to tell anyone how to move. I just didn't think her body was strong enough for chemo. I knew her very well, and unfortunately for her, she wasn't ready. She gave up. So I was in the room with her. She died the way she wanted to, though. She said she never wanted to die alone. So she was in the room. All of her brothers were in the room. Her dad was in the room. Her best friend was in the room. And when she heard everyone's voice, she took a deep breath and let go.
Wow.
So death is a part of life. The one thing I've learned, right, is that you cannot prevent death. But what you can do is start to live. Because
Right.
at that time, I wasn't living. I was dying, and I didn't realize I was dying. I was fighting my way out of poverty the way I thought I knew by selling drugs. God made sure that I learned a whole bunch of different other ways since then, right? But,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was doing what I thought I knew, you know, uh, and
Right.
a lot of people get trapped into what they think. John Assaraf, from the movie The Secret. Uh,
Yeah.
One time we were eating dinner and he said something to me which also changed my life. He said, we don't see with our eyes, we see with our brains, but our brain will only see what it's been trained to see. I'll repeat that for you. We don't see with our eyes, we see with our brains, but our brain will only see what it's been trained to see. So I say that as I tell you, I sold drugs, but I also have a college degree from Lehigh University. you know, uh, uh,
Right.
I was the first black person to graduate from my high school, in a school that was 250 years old before I got there. So I had some intelligence, right? But
Yeah.
because the drug dealers were the ones in my neighborhood that got the girls, they had the fancy cars, they had, my mind tricked me into thinking that was the route, that I needed to go. So,
Mhm.
our mind can play tricks on us especially when we're not surrounded with people of love, right? Once I
Mm-hmm.
surrounded with myself with people who love me, not just people who wanted to be around me, not just people who realized I was smart, not just people who wanted to benefit off me, right? But people
Mm-hmm.
who truly love me. Because someone that truly loves you can tell you when you're wrong, even when you don't know it, right? You know,
Right.
they could tell you, hey, Paz, you might need to stop selling drugs. Like, what do you mean? That's how I'm feeding my family. You got a college degree, fool. You own a couple businesses. Like, why are you acting like that's the only way you can get money? Oh, because the drugs is what really fuels the money for the businesses. No, they don't. You're just telling yourself that in reverse to justify the nonsense. You know. So when you start surrounding yourself with people who truly love not only who you are but love where you want to go, you know
Mm-hmm.
they can be a blessing. And I say the best way, because someone's right now going, how do I change? What do I do? You be a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else. Do something good for someone else. Not because you have to, but because you're blessed to. And do it unconditional. Do it not
Mm-hmm.
looking for anything in return. You know, there's so many people that I give to that I know will never give back to me. You know, this whole controversy I'm dealing with in my city is because we actually gave $500 to a group that hate us. and because
Really?
and because they felt like we should have gave them more, they decided to cause more controversy. But we smile big because all they're doing is advertising. You know, because I am who I say I am. You know, if
Mm-hmm.
you live in your authentic space, your haters are your best advertisers. They're your best promoters. Because the people that love you are not going to promote you as much as a hater. Because the people that love you want to protect you. They don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to. They feel the nose more than you do. Right? When someone doesn't buy your product or doesn't support you, the person that loves you, they feel it more than you do. But a person that hates you, they're going to tell the world about you. They're going to say this podcast sucks. And I don't know why she's trying to help people with cancer. I don't know why she thinks she can make a difference. Who the hell is she? You know, why does she have the silly black man with the glasses on? You know, why do they think that they can do something to inspire people? Right? There's always going to be those.
Oh yeah, yeah. There always will be, and I appreciate you saying what you just did, and also what you are doing for so many. In that you are taking this message now out there, in that others can be the CEO of their life. Others can see that they can be influential. They can actually use their brains and do something with it. It's like you said. I mean, truthfully, we anybody that's done any kind of living for any period of time here on this earth, they understand that there was that dynamic of business that was taking place back in the day in some of these quote unquote gangs. It was ran in so many ways like a business, where it just was ran at a different they had different rules, let's just put it that way. And yet they had accounting, they had inventory control, they had all of those kind of things, marketing, they had all of distribution. And so now to be able to take it into a legitimate light where
And it's
you can
funny
say,
that you
hey.
say that. It's funny that you say that, right? Because how do I get to relate to the drug dealers? How do I get to relate to the gang members, right? How do I create that bridge, right? The first thing is all of the things that you just said. They're business owners. They just don't know. They have no idea. So first thing I asked them, I'm like, because no one, I'm like, how many of you guys are good at sales? Well, everyone look around. Well, I'm not good at sales. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, how many of y'all ever sold drugs? They still, no one wants to raise their hand, so I raise mine. I'm like, I sold drugs. I sold drugs all up and down the East Coast. I'm like, check my name. You can see the mistakes I made. Like, oh, you sold drugs? Okay, yeah, I sold drugs. I'm like, oh, so I'm like, so you know sales and distribution.
Right,
Like
right.
what? What? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, how many of you wear a bandana in your back pocket? Of course I do. That represents my set. That lets people know who I am. Oh, you know branding and marketing. because you branded yourself and you marketed your set all the way through the city. Because every time someone saw your flag, they knew what brand you represent and they know who you are worth. Like, yeah, I'm like, how many of you guys ever tried to sell drugs in more than one place at the same time? Like, of course I do. You got to expand, big dog. You know, acquisition, right? You know, how many of you guys have people that work for you? How many of you got little homies? Of course I got little homies. I'm a big homie. Oh, you know management. And you know management and the level that most people don't. Because if you get it wrong, somebody's going to take your life.
Right. They have a whole different set of rules going on there.
Yeah, so when you start to tell them how their rules apply to real world, it's a whole different thing. It's just the words, right? Like if you are not given language, if you're not given opportunity, you may think what you're doing is the only way. You know, I just seen, and this is so amazing, right? One of the founders of the Latin Kings just graduated college 2 weeks ago. After doing, after doing 14 years in prison, you know, spending a year with me, he got a college degree.
Awesome. That is just something to be celebrated. Absolutely. Good job, because this is this is why Andrea was like, Tamara, all things stop until we are able to honor pause, because it is such a story that needs to be told. And so I actually asked you, we won't go into it too very much, but the thing, I love this. Okay, they're all having a field day. You're probably seeing this, amazing. And then Skip is saying, you got game. I love it. I love it. And so it's interesting how it always amazes me, but it shouldn't. But this is the third year I've been doing this show, and it seems that, like, whenever there's been any kind of a change in schedule, which there was in this case, that it always seems to be for a reason. And right now there is a lot of, and we won't get too deep into it, but right now there is a lot of news in regards to what is happening out there. And the when you're not talking with the frontline people and you start getting into the news cycles, they then want to have the commentary. They want to go here, they want to do that, and then it can sometimes get blown out of proportion even. And so that then people are like, oh, but wait a minute, this is going on, the loot, looting, and someone's dead, and all this kind of stuff. It's like, wait a minute here. And so I asked you if this had anything to do, even like in your area that you're working right now, because you're in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And what did you share with me?
I said I'm already working with the families out in Minnesota. You know,
Yeah.
we have been working with the legal team. You know, and actually the looting is hurting. It's not helping the situation.
Yeah.
So I'm not one who believes in marching. I'm not one who believes in protesting that way. That was my mother's generation, right? And that was necessary then, right? We are of a technology era, right? We should be able to communicate on a different level, right? We should be thinking policy, procedure. You know, me burning down your store doesn't help, doesn't change anything about the police whooping my ass tomorrow. Part of my language. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It doesn't keep my two boys safe. And I have a 25-year-old boy. I have a he's a big boy. It doesn't keep he's bigger than me. It doesn't keep my autistic brother safe. Who's when you see him, you see a 6'3", 250-pound black man. You don't realize he has the mind and the mental capacity of an 8-year-old.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you don't realize, especially, and this is so serious, right? I'll give my brother an example. He's a big black guy, big guy, 6'3", big guy. In the minds of an 8-year-old, and he has an infatuation with boobies. Not boobies, right? So he may walk down the street, and because he's autistic, you know,
Right,
he may
right,
see a big set of breasts and not think about it. He won't touch them, but he will yell boobies at the top of his lungs. You know,
right.
so you think about in a dangerous situation where what George said, what happened to George, and the guy putting his knee on the guy's neck. That could be my little brother, who could have just been yelling boobies because he's autistic and don't know any better, and there's nobody else there to be able to translate for him to save his life.
Mm,
So
mm,
it's so important for us to understand, that we all have a personal responsibility. Too long, right? And the reason that the cops are able to do this is because too many good cops are sitting silent. Too
mm,
many, too many people are saying it's not me, right? Too many people are saying, "Well, I'm not racist." Instead of not only holding themselves accountable, but holding the people next to them accountable, right? See, I can say I've stopped well over 300 violent attempts, gun violent attempts, because I can say that who I've talked to. I know what gang members do what and how I show up. My personal accountability, right? My personal accountability said that I had to show up,
uh-huh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew I could do something, right? So everyone on this call, right? If you may not be able to make the biggest difference, right? And it's not about making the biggest difference. It's about making a difference, right?
Right,
Have a
right. Yes.
conversation. Have a conversation with someone and tell them that you know all lives matter. Black lives matter.
Right.
This is not right. This we all know right from wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say that the guy committed a crime or didn't commit a crime because I'm not exactly sure. That's a little fuzzy. They're saying, but that doesn't matter. Even if he did, it was a non-violent crime. He had no weapon. He didn't. You know what I mean? There was no reason for anyone to watch him die, and for someone to film. We become such voyeurs, right? For someone to film for 10 minutes instead of being bold enough to push that cop and say, hey, buddy, think about this. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it takes nothing to just think about this, buddy. And that man could have been alive. A whole
Right,
city didn't have to be burned. But
right.
the greatest quote in the world, and I'm going to give, it's a great quote. If you're over 30, then you remember this quote. It was when Reeboks were really big, right? Right?
I remember those. Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
It's the
yeah.
Reebok. Life is not a spectator sport. Life is not
Mm-hmm.
a spectator sport.
Right, right,
You got to
right.
get involved. You got to do something. You know what I mean? If you want to heal, and for everyone that's watching this, you want to heal, try to help somebody else heal. The reason that my sister passed away so quickly was because she allowed herself to be beat down by the cancer. She gave up
Mm-hmm.
so quickly.
Right.
She stopped. Not only did she not try to heal herself, she didn't try to heal anyone else. Now, the reason that my grandfather, he carried it around for a while until he was I'm just old and tired, uh, was because he kept giving. He kept
Mm-hmm.
giving, and in giving, he kept living. There's someone right now that needs you. They need your story. I can't tell them my story of cancer survival because I haven't survived cancer. I can tell you this, but my survival story of losing someone who
Mm-hmm.
grew their wings. I can tell you
Right.
different stories. Every one of you have a story. Every one of you are a blessing, right? Every one
Mm-hmm.
of you, right? For you to understand, you cannot spell testimony without going through test.
Absolutely. You just hit so many nails on the head. You are so good at all of this because you know it. You've lived it. And that's living is not a spectator sport. You are in the thick of it. And the thing that I'm really glad that we were able to share in your inspirational service hero story, your life, what you are currently doing in so many different areas, is we shared that you have at your table right now in Allentown, that you are working with the police, you are working with the fire, you are working with the church agencies, you are working with the city fathers and sisters and brothers and mothers and daughters and all of the above. You are working with all of the different organizations, also known in some ways as gangs. And you are finding a way to full circle it to community, a community by the name of Allentown, Pennsylvania, not separating it, but bringing it together so that you are then serving, you're healing through that connection to serve those that are in isolation right now because of a pandemic. So you then, because of who you are, you have the intellect, yes, you have the knowledge of how these things work, and you're able to keep that cool head and say, okay, let's calm this down. This looting, this fight, the fire, all of that, and then go and do what you can to help. And again, like you said, what can any of us do? The question is, how can we serve? That's the question. What can we do? How can we serve? And even if it's serving ourselves, that's serving.
I say this, right? Be the change you want to see. Be the
Yes.
change you want to
Absolutely.
see. So it doesn't matter how much money you have, right? You don't, your time is always worth more than your money anyway. So
Yeah.
if you can actually give your genuine time, one of the greatest things someone said to me is to just be present. At that moment,
Yes.
even if you can only be present for a few minutes, right? If you can only give me a few minutes of 100% undivided attention to be present, you want to know, what can I do? Write down what can you do? Like, no one
Mhm.
knows your skills but you. What skills do you have? So one of the greatest things I've been taught, and it's a quote in my book, right? Is problems are things that we create in our minds, but solutions are things we create in our hearts. So, put your heart into it. How can you help? And I tell you, if you do it in genuineness, if you do it, looking to be a blessing, there's no one that's going to tell you no. You know,
Mhm.
like, who's going to tell you? Like, what family's going to tell me, no, I don't want your diapers if they have a baby, right?
Right,
You
right, right. Oh,
know,
I don't know. I had four of them. I can tell you. And I think three of them were in diapers all at the same time because of the way it all hit. That is not an unusual thing for anyone that has kids because that happens,
mhm.
and 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 when you can't go get them because of whatever reason, that's not a good day. That's not a good day. And so what I want to also, before we get to the top of the hours, I want to let people know that you now, yes, you have filmed with CNN. Yes, you have, been on different television, and of course you do your own lives. You tell. I love the fact that you've been doing 31 days of happiness and
Yeah,
celebrating your own birthday. I love that, which was yesterday. Happy birthday to
yes.
you
Thank
yesterday.
you.
You're welcome. You're
But
welcome.
the best way to celebrate is to give, right? So I decided, hey, I want to celebrate. So what's the best way to celebrate? Give all that I can to people that I love, right? So 31 days. If you go back, they're still up there. Tonight we have on Sharon Lecter, so I'm super excited. Rich author of Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Mhm.
Outwitting the Devil, Think and Grow Rich for Women. She's written
Yeah.
so many amazing books. But really it was about inspiring people to find their happy place. Like, each person that's on is not pitching a business. Of course, they will tell you what they do, but they're
Right.
actually um, They're actually sharing what makes them so passionate. Yeah, last night we had Neva Lee Reckler on, who's a 10-year-old entrepreneur who's been
She's
taking money out.
amazing.
Yeah, she's been taking money out of my pocket since she was 4. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and she's
yeah. She
also,
got business cards. She talked her parents into business cards, I think, when she was 2, is
yeah,
what she was saying, and
yeah,
her mother was like, okay, yeah, of course I said no in the beginning. And then she was like, then I thought, why did I say no in the beginning? Look at, and here she's an amazing entrepreneur that is actually inspiring other kids to find that within themselves. It is absolutely incredible. And I want to say about your guest tonight, Sharon, that anybody that knows her personal story knows that she also has a personal story that is connected to our community, and that's all I'll say. And so, there are so many amazing people out there that when you start stripping away some of the fact that, oh, starstruck, oh, she's this person, oh, he's that person, and on, and then you start to realize, what, they've lived life too. They've been there too. They've been there and done that, and they have been living their life like that Reebok saying. They haven't been spectators. They've been in the mix of it, and they have stories that are that will inspire in so many different ways. And that's what I absolutely love what you're doing right now. I'm going to give you a few moments. I'm going to take myself down from the line, and I'm going to give you a few moments to just kind of talk to everybody. Any kind of inspiration or a nugget that you want to share, and then I'll come back
okay,
up, and then we'll close out the show. Okay?
all right. So for our brothers and sisters that are watching this, I want you to know that you are not alone. You may think that you are alone. You may think that you're going through something all by yourself, but we are all connected. You know, God is love, and to love is to do God's work. So the more time that you can spend in love, the more times that you can actually express love, the more times that you can show love, the greater life will be. I've been blessed to live off the currency of love. Love has its own currency. Like love has a currency. Love has its own currency. It has its own frequency. It has its own vibration. So once we learn how to ride that vibration, once we learn how to tune into that frequency, once we learn how to smile big, genuinely, everything that we want, everything that we need, everything that we desire will start to transpire for us. You cannot spell testimony without going through test. So your test is unique. Your situation is all your own. Your story is powerful. No story is better than your story. Let me repeat that for you. No story is better than your story. You may not think your story is as exciting as a Michael Jordan's, or as amazing as Walt Disney's, or as passion filled as a Ross Perot, right? But your story is inspiring. Your story is something someone right now is looking to hear. Your story is part of your superpower, right? Your story is part of your superpower. If we spent more time tapping into our superpowers, we can leverage our superheroes. We spent more time tapping into our superpowers, we can leverage our superheroes. Your superpowers are any skills that you have, any passions that you pursue, right? Any experiences that you lived through and can share. Let me repeat that for you. Any experiences that you lived through and can share. because anyone can give you an opinion, and opinions are like buttholes. I'm going to say that slow for you. Opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one, but only crap comes from it. Everyone has one, but only crap comes from it. Because anyone who's lived and experienced will not tell you from my opinion, right? They'll tell you from my experience. Anyone who actually has true knowledge will not say, well, in my opinion. They will tell you according to my research or according to my knowledge, right? Anyone that's ever done anything that you're truly looking to do, they're going to explain it based on realities they've seen, learned, or experienced. When someone is telling you opinion, their opinion is ignorance. It's the absence of fact. Anyone can give you an opinion. So stay away from opinions and always seek counsel. Counsel is someone who can share with you based on their life experiences, their studies, things that they've actually, right, processed in their minds or hearts. Always seek counsel. Never listen to opinions. That's our sisters back.
You are amazing. And I don't know what's going on with your sound. However, we're still hearing you. It's just slightly different. But the comments that were going on, I didn't want to interrupt your flow. However, let's just say they're sharing the love with you. And they are, Skip says, wow, what a powerful testimony and inspiration for all of us. Love you, man. And Helene is saying, amen, with the love of God, you are walking in you. And Sherry is saying, thank you. My story has, and your story has inspired others, or her story has inspired others. And I'm grateful for that. And let's see here. And we have Crystal, need to rewatch. It's amazing. So they're already starting to say, okay, who needs to see this? And that's what I love about this group, because they'll be sharing it out with everybody, and we'll make sure that people do get the messages that you're sharing. Did you get a chance to share everything that you did want to say?
I think so, but if there's ever anyone who needs my help, I'm always available. My name is Paz, P-A-S, last name Simpson. I'm on all forms of social media, or you can look up the Happiness Engineer. You can find me that way as well. And I'm always willing to help. Someone helped me along the way, and by helping others, I get to continue to be blessed, right? Be the blessing and you'll always be blessed. So that's how I live.
Well, you know what? We're just going to have to get you into our community, because and I already let you know, you are a support buddy. And because of the experiences that you've had, and I will take you up on that if we ever have anybody that needs you as a buddy.
Yeah,
That we would
I'll be
love
glad
to
to
have
support.
you. Yeah, have you be a part of our group. So I'll send you an invitation. We'll have you come into our closed group at some point in time, again, to share, because it is a community. All of us are in this thing called life together, and the love that we then share, because the thing that our community has done is we declared this year and now this decade to be the year of love, unconditional agape love. And that's what we live by in our community. And it's amazing how when you have people that are facing some tough stuff, but when they are facing it together, like you were saying, then they have the hope, and they find the humor, and they find the heart to then share the love and the hugs, and they are healing through the connections, and they are
Hmm.
getting through it together, and they are not losing. I mean, it can be a roller coaster and it can be a bit of a ride, but we are doing it together. And so
Yeah.
your story today, your time with us all, you have served so many more as the service hero that you definitely are. And Andrea Adams Miller, I owe you so much for, she's like, Tamara, because I get these things ready and I wanted to know who you were. And she's like, don't worry, because you will love him. And I can say, absolutely, that is the truth. I absolutely
Oh, humble.
so adore you. So I love the time that you spent with all of us. I'm grateful for that. So, is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Um, I would say, in the immortal words of Mr. Michael Jackson, "You are not alone. I am here with you." Right? We're never alone. Right? If at any moment, right, at any time, there's someone that wants your love. Don't look to love or be loved. Look to be the love, and love will always find you.
Absolutely. And may I just say, it is amazing that we have our buddy Crystal Nicole, that is the only woman, Michael Jackson's impersonator, MJ's Raven, that just showed up right now. Not an accident. She sings that to our community. And I'm sure she's like, oh, going, the heart is just, I'm sure, fluttering, and all of us too, because we are not alone. We are in this together. And so, as we close today's show of the Service Hero, 365 days of awesome, celebrate success through service. You definitely, Paz, are a service hero. We have truly found that to be the case. Andrea, you were, we meet him, and we have now done so. The stories that you have shared, the inspiration that you have given, and the wisdom that you have now instilled upon all of us, and the offer to be there, and so that those that are feeling alone will not feel that way any longer. That is truly a service hero. So thank you for your service. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Bye. And everybody, tonight's TGIF in the group, meet us there at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. See you then. Bye.